Family and friends, welcome to the first annual Rapaholics Reward Roundup. We will be going over the best and worst moments of the entire year, ranging in everything from the best artists to the worst albums to the best songs and everything in between. And today, we got a special roundup. We're going to be going over the best and worst features of the year because while 2024 blessed us with some incredible moments, it was not shy of its awful ones as well. So we're going to go through the top 5 best and worst features of the year. First, we got to start off with the honorable mentions for some of the best features of the year that didn't quite crack the top 5. The first one is not actually a verse, it's not actually even a hip-hop feature, but it's T-Pain on the hook of Glorilla's song I Love Her. Now, if you guys grew up in the same era as me, then you know how important T-Pain was to the 2000s mainstream R&B and hip-hop landscape. Before there was TikTok, there was Hot 97 and the radio, and T-Pain controlled every single ounce of the airwaves for a good 3 to 4 years in the mid-2000s. You couldn't turn on the radio without hearing at least 5 T-Pain songs back to back. And before there was Future and Quavo killing every hook on your favorite rapper's songs, you had T-Pain. Before there was the Drake stimulus package, there was the T-Pain stimulus package. And he recreated the essence of his prime, of that prime 2007's urban radio vibe with his hook on this Glorilla song. It's simple, it's catchy, you feel like you're riding around Miami listening to the radio in 2007, but simultaneously it still sounds current, still sounds like 2024. T-Pain meshes perfectly with Glorilla, and I hope the success of this record inspires T-Pain to tap back into this sound, this famous formula that helped him dominate the mainstream for so long, and provide more rappers in 2025 with these smooth, auto-tune fueled hooks for these gangster love ballads. Next on our honorable mentions list, we got 3 of, in my opinion, the best features on Kendrick's new album GNX, and that's going to be Hit a J3 on the title track GNX, Doechii 6 on Hey Now, and AZ Chucky, if that's how you pronounce his name, on Peekaboo. Tons of quotables from all 3 of these rappers on each of their respective verses. Hit a J3 coming with the best set of bars, rapping 25, feeling like that box, it was full of sand. At the cemetery, effed up, that's where I could have been. 142nd, I'm connected like I'm Rosecrans. Kind of stuff I seen, try and forget. I'll pop a Zan, up in scores, doing fouls, sacrifices like a boxing ring, can't throw in the towel, pistol packing since a child. Just the different rhyme schemes within the bars, mixed with that high energy delivery and the do or die aggression detailing the dark traumas of his childhood, but still keeping the tempo high and the energy exciting and engaging. He definitely made his mark in the mainstream in just 40 seconds, leaving you wanting to check out more of his work and hearing more of his story. Same thing with Doechii 6 and AZ Chucky. Doechii going bar for bar with Kendrick on Hey Now and standing his ground against the veteran MC, giving us catchy, outlandish one-liners like who the F I feel like Joker, Harley Quinn up in the cut with a blower. And Chucky coming with bars like surprise, it's that guy Chuck E. Cheese, let me FaceTime my ops, I'm up the street. These verses sound like they belong on a soundtrack to a West Coast version of the TV show Robot Chicken. Next on the honorable mentions list, we got J. Cole on T Grizzly's song Blow for Blow. He easily steals the show here, tackling both the hook and a verse, doing an interpolation of Diddy and Mace's song Mo Money Mo Problems. Diddy probably not being the best person to pay homage to in 2024, but Cole does it justice. And years back, he actually got in a fight with Diddy to defend his boy Kendrick Lamar, who in 2024, he was actually apologizing to for trying to start a fight with. So funny how the tables have turned. Cole went from fighting Diddy over Kendrick Lamar to fighting Kendrick Lamar and remixing Diddy's song. But he did it well. He killed that feature. Next on the list of honorable mentions is going to be Schoolboy Q on Tyler the Creator's song Thought I Was Dead. Just like his West Coast counterparts Doechii 6 and AZ Chucky did on Kendrick's album GNX, Schoolboy Q brings the most outlandish, cartoony bars to this Tyler song, easily outdoing Tyler's wackiness, his out-of-this-world imagination, which is a tough thing to beat. But he does so on this beat, bringing tons of charisma and energy to this stripped-back segment of the instrumental where all you hear is this trumpet in the background and these chants. I don't really know if it's a trumpet, it might be some other type of horn. Let me know in the comments. But Q comes with some of the most wild bars on this album, rapping, people tend to get rich and they act weird. How you walk into the party with your butt pierced. I'd rather play golf till the check clear. People turn 35, now they're out here. The only feature on this album that clears Schoolboy Q for wildest bars is easily Doechii on the song Balloon, who raps that she would air this thing out like a queef. But I still think Schoolboy Q takes the cake for best rapping feature on this project. And that's a tough thing to accomplish when you're going up against Doechii Doechii, and Lil Wayne. But one of the best ones of the year, and the final honorable mention, is going to be Jid on Ab-Soul's song Crazier. Matter of fact, he definitely deserves to be up here twice for his feature as well on Eminem's song Fuel, but I think I'm just sleeping too hard on that new Eminem album, so I don't really go back to this song much. But that Ab-Soul record, the whole album really, is something I was definitely bumping heavy in the later half of the year. Ab-Soul recently went on Twitter and got mad at people for sleeping on this album, and I agree with him. Usually, I'd say that an artist is just salty if they're not seeing the results that they want. They just got to work harder on the next one, but this album was really slept on, and the main reason why is because his TDE counterpart Kendrick Lamar released his own album about 2 weeks after Ab-Soul, which completely overshadowed Solo from a mainstream perspective. Really, Kendrick was overshadowing everyone in 2024, but we'll be showing Ab-Soul a lot of love in the best and worst albums of the year video, so stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for Jid's album in 2025 or whenever he releases it, because man, this guy has been on a roll, and it's only but a matter of time before he blows up on a mainstream level and gets his proper flowers, because he's been killing these features, man. Like on this Crazier record with Ab-Soul, he compares himself to the nasally Nas, but he's more Jay-Zer, and he gives us some crazy aggressive bars here, talking about dome shot him, that's a third eye, you get real woke, get a pen, write his name on a bullet for your boy, then pull it when you blitz, get a Pulitzer Award. His wordplay is unmatched, no doubt. But that brings us into the official list for the best and worst features of 2024. So let's start off on a bad note. Let's start off with the 5th worst feature of the year. And that's going to be Kodak Black on Kanye West and Dalyt's song Field Trip. Now, 2024 hasn't been the best year for Kodak. We saw him spit an incomprehensible freestyle on Kai Cenat's stream while erratically tossing pills into his mouth from midair. Just recently, we saw him get on the Rolling Loud stage and pull a Kanye West, where he seemingly forgot what a microphone was and just started standing around the stage while the music played. And while he did give us one of the best features of the year with the Brother Stone track off of Don Toliver's album, he also gave us one of the worst features of the year with another Don Toliver record, Field Trip off Kanye and Dalyt's Vultures 2 album. Now, mind you, this feature would actually be decently enjoyable, or at least not horrible, if Kodak Black just finished it. Just like his freestyle on Kai Cenat's stream, this phoned-in verse from Kodak features him mumbling and incomprehensibly singing his lyrics, also giving us the magnificent bar about taking his girl on a trip to Six Flags. Now, in general, Kodak Black does a lot of trolling on Instagram Live, but when he starts trolling us in the music, he ends up on the list for the worst features of the year. So let's cleanse our palates, no Diddy, with the 5th best feature of the year, which is going to be none other than that Mexican OT on Maxo Cream's song Talkin' and Screw. Now, this was another highly slept on album this year. Maxo Cream has been doing his thing for a long time, being highly overlooked. I'm going to touch on that more in the best albums of the year video, but Maxo and Mexican OT both pay homage to that DJ Screw Houston hip-hop sound with this dirty South banger, Talkin' and Screw. And this type of production just fits Mexican OT perfectly. He didn't necessarily come in with the most intricate wordplay or complex rhyme schemes or eye-opening subject matter, but that's not what this track is for. This track is designed to be blasted in your car, ideally a lowrider with no roof, sun blazing, wind blowing. You get the vibes. And if you don't, then I feel bad for you, but you should still check this song out. OT brings the energy, rapping, ain't nothing changed on the south side, repping brown pride till the day that I drop in the casket, push up on your block, bust it down like a paddock, like TVs with no connection, I got static, make his body spill some red like a double cup, pull the clip out the gut, tell buddy knuckle up. He definitely has one of the best flows of the current generation, and the 5th best feature of the year, in my opinion. And my opinion's always right, so you just gotta deal with it. Now, that leads us into the 4th worst feature of the year, which is gonna be Quavo on the song Georgia Ways. Now, I know Drake didn't have the best year this year, but underratedly, Quavo could hold the title for worst musical output of any rapper in 2024. The trend of remixing old classic songs should have definitely been left in 2023, where we had an abundance of them, from Jack Harlow's Loving on Me to Nicki Minaj's Super Freaky Girl. It's the cheapest attempt at tapping into nostalgia and trying to chase a hit in the most formulaic, integrity-lacking way. And honestly, I think the fans are tired of it. It really doesn't work anymore. it really did not work with Quavo on this record, and it's not the first time he tried this year. Between a horrible remix of Lenny Kravitz's song Fly Away, a mediocre interpolation of Juvenile's Slow Motion on his song with the Kid Laroi, and now this horrible attempt at making the next Old Town Road with this song Georgia Ways, this is the same man that gave us Oh My This Side or Good Drank. Like, I want you guys to remember, there was a time when Quavo was the feature king. Now he's devolved into this uninspired shell of his former self artistically as he desperately tries to create the most shameless attempts at cash grab hits we've seen this entire year. His feature on this Georgia Ways song sounds like he's trying to take a note out of Shabuzi's textbook, merging trap with country music, but Quavo himself did this way better back in 2017 with Young Thug on the song You Said. But this time around, it literally sounds like he asked ChatGPT to write him a verse that sounds like a rapper trying to be a country singer. He's giving us Billy Ray Cyrus flows, but rapping about Magic City on a Monday. Someone tell bro to follow his mixtape titles and get back to the bando and take off the cowboy hat. Save that for Lil Nas X. And that leads us into the fourth best feature of the year, which is going to be a duet or a duo, Ab-Soul and Dalyt on J. Cole's song Pie. This was originally a solo Soul and Dalyt track. They ended up sending it to J. Cole. He put a verse on it, and he is an incredible verse as well, but we're talking feature verses here, and you have two of the most lyrically impressive technical rappers on this track, sharing a verse going bar for bar, giving you some of the most layered, multi-meaning quotables, homonyms, complex metaphors. Every bar has something you gotta open up Genius to unpack. Like, Dalyt opens up the song rapping, "The criteria for this tier is just an open pride, hopes and cries, but so can I." With criteria, literally the second word rapped on this song, acting as a homonym to set up the second bar with hopes and cries, as criteria sounds like crying tears. Then Ab-Soul comes in comparing himself to the skinny Biggie, rapping skinny Biggie, lens is tinted but ain't got no lazy eye. And that's because obviously Biggie had a lazy eye, and while Ab-Soul also frequently, or not frequently, really all the time, walks around with shades on just like Biggie used to do, he doesn't have a lazy eye, he actually has a medical condition. Dalyt giving us some more homonyms and hidden meanings later in the song, rapping, "Step in the cypher, know the beef real, your life at stake, ages with each meal." And Ab-Soul following it up with, "Real estate of mind, you need equity, let the beat build," declaring that he's got a real state of mind with the double meaning of state of mind and real estate, and then tying it up with more real estate terms, asking, do you need equity in this, real estate of mind? Would you like to share this higher state of thinking and being? Then let the beat build. Build being another real estate term. When you want to build equity, you invest in real estate, or when you build real estate, when you build properties, you're building your equity. And he's saying, let the beat build if you want equity in this realer state of mind. If you want to understand my mind and my higher way of thinking, let the beat build, aka continue listening to the song as the beat progresses. And I mean, I could go on for this entire song breaking down each bar, but that's a whole other video in and of itself. But just know it's two lyrical titans going back to back, each of them giving you these bars that are filled with so many layers, so many different double meanings, not one word wasted, and keeping you, constantly enthralled and entertained as it's, one voice, one perspective, with Dalyt shifting right away on the next bar to Ab-Soul's perspective. Insane record. And that's going to lead us to the third worst feature of the year, which is going to be Sexy Red's verse on Sticky. Now, I don't really have much to say about this. This song grew on me a lot. I wasn't the biggest fan of it at first compared to the other songs off of Tyler's Chromocopia project, but I think everyone's performance on this song was pretty solid overall. Tyler killed it, Glorilla killed it, she was a nice addition, and Weezy to me sounded like he brought it back to the No Ceilings days, even though his verse was shorter than his beef with Kendrick was. His vocals fit perfectly on this instrumental, and I thought Sexy Red would too, but unlike that Dalyt and Ab-Soul verse, we can actually go through all the lyrics of this Sexy Red verse, and you guys tell me if this deserves to be on the worst features of the year. Sexy in this B word, Tyler in this B word, we turned his F. B word's mad but can't beat my butt. Ho, line it up. I don't fight for my respect. B word, I fight for D word. Fa 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 fa, baby girl, I'm finna rock your stuff. It's getting sticky. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here, but that's gonna lead us into the third best feature of the year, which comes on Corday's Records Saturday Mornings with an incredible verse from Lil Tunechi, Lil Weezy. Just like with that Sticky verse, with this verse on this Corday song, Wayne brings us back to a simpler time. He brings us back to 2007 when he used to collaborate with Street Runner on these beautiful soul sample instrumentals that were all leaked right before the Carter 3. Drop a comment if you remember the OG Carter 3, which featured tons of these soulful instrumentals, with Weezy pouring his heart out on these tracks like we had never heard him before and really rarely ever hear him do to this day. Songs like Pray to the Lord, Trouble, we rarely get that Weezy in 2024, but we get small glimpses of it, like we did on Saturday mornings with Corday. And I'm sorry to Corday, much love to you, brother, but I always play the music video version of this song, like I play it while I work or whatever, and I just skip straight to Weezy's verse. I don't think I've ever even heard Corday's verse, if you want me to tell you the truth. But that's how you know it was a good Wayne feature, because when Wayne hops on your song, you should not even think of it as your own song anymore. Like when Ab-Soul said on that Pie record, you want equity, then let the beat build. Here it's the complete exact opposite. If you're a rapper and you want equity on your song, you want people to remember you on your own song, don't let Weezy attack the beat as it builds. My favorite set of bars on this record coming when Weezy raps: I need less yes men and more amens. I'ma need more real prayers and less praying hands. I'm smoking straight gas, no brake pads. Bar after bar, punchline after punchline on this record. Weezy was going so hard that people at the time even thought that he was jumping in the ring with Kendrick and beefing with Drake, sneak dissing him on this song, even though I definitely don't think it was. I think this was recorded before Kendrick's whole beef with Drake even started. But Weezy rapped, "You're a teddy bear, you're a Teddy Graham, you're sweet as jelly jam, honey glazed deli ham." And obviously Drake's last name is Graham, so you can make the connection, but I don't know. I do a lot of reaching. I still think this is like too far of a reach, but maybe I'm just delusional. Maybe I just want to see Weezy and Drake take it back to the 09 early Young Money days. But Wayne definitely took it back to that 2007 soulful vibe that he used to give us on all those Carter 3 leaks. And I love seeing glimpses of that prime Weezy come out in 2024. Hopefully in 2025, we get the Carter 6. We get a lot more prime Weezy in our future. But someone who was most definitely not in their prime on the second worst feature of the year is going to be none other than my guy J. Cole on the song Grippy. Now, it's crazy because he's given us some of the best features of this year. Obviously, the one I mentioned with T Grizzly, Ruby Rosary with A$AP Rocky. He might be featured later on this list, so stay tuned for that as well with another feature. But this was just atrocious, man. Who knew that after his apology to Kendrick Lamar, that wouldn't even be the worst thing he'd come out with this year? How do you stoop lower than dissing Kendrick Lamar with a very mediocre diss track at that, and then backing out of this battle that you didn't even start, and then crying about that you wouldn't have lost a battle, you would have lost a bro? I mean, I didn't think you could stoop lower, but he definitely did with this song. Forget apologizing to Kendrick. He owes us an apology with this verse. Now, I think Cole in general needs to be banned from making these like R&B style love songs in general, or appearing on them. We need to ban him from all of these songs. He dropped Fever on Might Delete Later, which is him singing. I don't even want to go into detail on that song. Also, I believe it was on Come Through and Chill, where he was rapping about police brutality on a song about Netflix and chilling. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Conscious Cole. Just like, if you're going to be putting this on, you know, when you're in the bedroom and all that, I don't think that's the right time to be talking about police brutality. He also destroyed Jeremiah's classic record Planes when he said that his genitalia is so big it's like a foot is in your mouth. And with this track Grippy, the one redeemable quality is that Cole's allegiance to the theme of the song is grippy. The theme of the record is literally a woman's grippy genitalia, and Cole grips on to that concept in the most vile way possible. He does a perfect job at painting a disgustingly vivid picture of this horrible made-up love story about a grippy girl who said she was gay till he slayed and now she's strictly dickly. I don't think I need to go into further detail. Just that bar alone should let you know why this is the worst, or one of the worst features of the year. This should really be number one. I might have to make some changes. I mean, especially like this was the first thing we got after he apologized for even thinking of trying to step in the ring with Kendrick Lamar. But you'll see why this didn't make the number one spot as the worst feature of the year. So stay tuned for that. But first, our guy Cole has to bless us with the second best feature of the year. Yes, he really did redeem himself with the track A Plate of Collard Greens by Dalyt. And this song carries the perfect foundation for how I want to hear Cole. Soulful sample, stripped back beat, nice relaxing, soothing, lush piano chords, no hook. It's like the perfect template for him to just go off on like 32 bars. This might even be even longer. Just straight introspection, straight passion, sticking to what he's best at. And this type of rapping or performance is just so effortless for Cole at this point. Like, we've seen him do this time and time again, year after year, dominating his features when he could just come on and flex his wordplay, flex his ability to pack in bars that are bloated with words that still contain meaning and also still flow very smoothly. The exact opposite of an Eminem who, from a technical standpoint, can still rap amazingly, but it almost sounds like too perfect. Like, it sounds like AI is rapping, trying to sound like the fastest, most energized, tongue twister fueled rapper, but it just sounds like he's trying to pack as many words into one bar as he possibly could, whereas Cole does it effortlessly. And a big problem I had with Cole after he backed out of this beef, stating that, you know, he wasn't really up for the challenge, is that he's been talking like he's the greatest for some time now. If you guys remember his feature on Benny the Butcher's Johnny P's Caddy, or really anything off his latest project, Might Delete Later, he's been letting you know for a long time now that he thinks he's in his prime. He thinks he is the greatest right now. And that doesn't change here on this feature, but he does it in a much more tasteful way. This song came out after his apology. His confidence is still intact, but he does sound hungrier than ever. He starts the verse off rapping, "The reign is obsolete, Jermaine is out to be celebrated, paraded out in the streets for days if not for weeks, for bringing us out the bleakest burning pit. My words are slick, when it's my turn to kick, I apply pressure like I'm trained to stop a leak." But also giving us some vulnerability, questioning if he truly is as great as he always thought he was. Rapping, "How vain is my belief to say that I could be the greatest y'all done seen." Then going deeper, reflecting on his childhood with double entendres like "gotta channel thoughts, cause damn the cable's off it seems. Deep down I hated Halloween with all that I have seen, who needs another way to cause a scream." Then he gives us one of the best Michael Jackson bars of the year, and if you've been following the Drake and Kendrick beef, then you know there's been a lot of them, when Cole raps, "Dangerous as the king of pop, how well they spin your block, no moves, minimal, smooth criminals, the whole gang doing an insane amount of lean." You get it? Like Michael Jackson, leaning, smooth criminal. Cole's gang is full of smooth criminals. They're on lean. Just impressive wordplay, smooth flow, respectable vulnerability while still balancing it out with some confidence that we definitely want to be seeing from Cole, especially in 2025, and bringing us into his mind, his childhood, his trials, his tribulations, his aspirations, and everything that shaped him for greatness. And look at me, now I'm rhyming just like Cole. So drop a like for that. And if you stuck with us this far, then I love you very much. And don't forget to also subscribe. And that will lead us into the worst feature of the year. I'm going to say it like Drake, worst, because it is none other than Drizzy Drake, who takes the Drizzy cake for being, no Diddy on that, for being the artist to have not only taken the worst L in a rap battle this year, but to also give us the worst feature by far this year. And that is going to be on his record, Wagwan Delilah. Well, it's not his record. He's a feature on it. I don't really remember the feature artist's name, and I'm not going to go dig it up. Snowy something, maybe? I don't know. But anyways, Drake here is doing a Toronto Jamaican accent right after Kendrick told him that there's no accent that he could sell us. He's painting the picture to the listener of himself talking to his love interest, apologizing that he brought his quote-unquote crody on a double date because he's wearing a shiesty mask, but he promises to his love interest that his crody is not bad looking or beat, as he says. He's just wearing the shiesty because it's too serious in these streets. It's too smoky in these streets, as Drake puts it. It's an absolute waste of a song, a bantry thing. Drizzy becoming an absolute Gerber on that track, Roddy. And someone gotta tell that twerp to nice his beak, fam. Especially this being the second song that Drake released after taking that gargantuous L. The jokes write themselves. It's like, it was insane to me that this was the second thing he put out as the world was dancing to Not Like Us throughout the summer. Like, Drake being one of the most calculated rappers we've seen in this generation when it comes to constantly providing hits, constantly making sure that he is at the center of attention, in the public's good graces, never saying anything too controversial or going off the edge to tarnish his very cut and dry reputation. It seems like he's become so engulfed in his artistic formula that when he does try to step out of the box, we get these absolute atrocities like a Wagwan Delilah or like an Honestly Nevermind, which I actually didn't mind so much because I like house music, but he definitely didn't do it justice, and most of the world definitely did not think so. But yeah, man, with this Wagwan Delilah track, I don't know if this was a troll. I don't know how or why he was thinking that this would be the right move to make after taking a massive L, if he thought this would distract people from the beef, if he thought that, he couldn't look worse than Not Like Us, so he might as well try to hit as deep below the bottom of the barrel that he possibly could. But he definitely accomplished it with this. This was by far the worst Drake feature we've ever gotten, by far the worst feature of this year. And that's going to lead us into the verse that had the ripple effect that ended up giving us Wagwan Delilah. The verse that started it all. The verse that shook up hip-hop for 2024 and will likely have ripple effects for years to come. And that will be the legendary verse from Kendrick Lamar on Future and Metro Boomin's record, Like That. When this song first came out, even before it came out, Future and Metro Boomin previewed it at Rolling Loud at a couple club events. When I heard that beat and I heard Future flowing on this beat, I said this is going to be one of the best songs of the year. Definitely the most exciting one on their new project that was about to drop. Then they did a Rolling Loud performance and they brought Travis Scott out as a guest, and they were playing new music off their new album before it came out, and Travis was like, play that one that goes da-na-na, 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 and this was before we knew that Kendrick would be on this song, right? So it makes you think, what did Travis know before this record came out, and where does he stand with Drake? But that's a question for another video. When this song came out, when we heard that surprise verse from Kendrick Lamar, the second he started it off, these guys talking out of their necks, don't pull no coffins out of your mouth, I'm way too paranoid for a threat. I was like, oh my God, what type of energy is this guy coming with? I think we got a verse from Kendrick like a couple months before this on a Beyonce record that people kind of forgot about. And this was, like a year and a half after Mr. Morale, where he did a lot of healing. That album wasn't something that a lot of people wanted to live with and wanted to hear from Kendrick at that point in time, because it didn't come with the same aggression as Damn, definitely didn't come with the same amount of hits as Damn. It wasn't as easily digestible or commercially accessible. It was a tough pill to swallow. Going back to a Mother I Sober or a We Cry Together, or even some of my favorites like a Count Me Out or a Rich Spirit, like there was a level of maturing that you had to be okay with doing, a level of growth that you had to accept might come by, sitting with this album and dissecting it and peeling back the layers. Like, this was not an easy listen in the slightest. So for Kendrick to just do a complete 360 or a 180 actually by dropping Like That, coming with energy that, in my opinion, we haven't seen since like Backseat Freestyle, especially off this like groovy beat that Metro made that I had been waiting for months at this point because they had been teasing it for months. I was like, this is the perfect feature for this record. This is just the perfect collaboration. This is going to be the perfect song. And I thought it couldn't get any more perfect until Kendrick rapped, my temperament bipolar, I choose violence. And I'm like, okay, where is he going with this? He's like, these guys are clicking up, whatever. And then he raps, F sneak dissing, first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches. And from that point on, I'm like, bro, we are about to witness like something we have never seen in hip hop before. Like, I vividly remember where I was, what was happening when I first heard that record, and how exactly I felt. And it was exactly how I feel right now. Like, that song just took everyone's penmanship, everyone's competitive spirit, everyone's drive for the throne to another level. And he did it with just a 40-second verse. And there's so many little Easter eggs in here that I don't even think people have really dissected, because obviously there was so much that came after that, so many different diss records. But even bars like, there's a lot of goofies with a check. Like, even before the whole, first person shooter bar, he was still dissing Drake right off the bat on this record. Goofies being like a goofy person, like a fool, but also being like Goofy the dog. This song was a response to Drake's album, For All the Dogs. Goofies with a check, as in like there's a lot of lame people out here who are rich and successful, but also being like a check, like the Nike check, like the swoosh. Drake is like Nike's biggest sponsor, or one of them. And just everything about this verse, man, what it brought to the game, how it changed the course of hip hop forever, not just for this year, but literally for the rest of history. How perfectly Kendrick flowed over this beat, all the different layers to each bar off of this verse, him coming with that literal bipolar temperament and completely changing the vibes from Mr. Morale to come with this aggressive boogeyman type energy, coming back hungrier than ever for the throne, and most definitely taking it. This was the perfect way for him to start this legendary run that he had this year. It obviously ended up being a #1 record for him and Future and Metro, rightfully so, and also ended up as the #1 best feature of 2024 on my list. Impact, energy, flow, bars, charisma, ad-libs, everything. Stellar verse. Stellar year, to be honest. Great year for hip-hop. If you stuck around, appreciate you guys. Drop a comment with your favorite guest verses of the year and the worst guest verses of the year, and I will catch you guys in the next one.
There's a lot of little nuggets in both of their disses that if it wasn't for these breakdowns, and salute to, guys like this, Rapaholics, because I think they directly get it.